The third presenter is Susan Siegel from Garnethill, Synagogue, Glasgow. I used to be a member there, and I was very happy to be there a few weeks ago visiting the Scottish Jewish Archives Centre, where I saw some of the things that Susan's going to be talking about. So it's great to have you here. Thank you very much.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and joining us and talking about the kinds of things that we've been doing. Those of you may remember that we were very fortunate because COP26 was in Glasgow a few years ago. And it's actually how it all started. We started out being a small but perfectly formed group at Garnethill. And obviously having all of the environmentalists in one place was very exciting for us, because we had a chance to hear what everyone all over the world was doing in terms of the environment. So it was a great opportunity for us to see how we could become more environmentally aware. We developed a committee at Garnethill, and we took the Board of Deputies survey. Now, this is a few years ago. We also worked together to develop some multi-faith relationships within the community, which was very helpful because our friends at the Church of Scotland, as well as our friends at St. Aloysius Church just down the street, were already doing some environmental things, and we could learn some things about in terms of what they were doing. So it was really great. So we explored what we could do differently. The benefit we had was that we had partnered with some of our local suppliers, and those of you who have ever been to Glasgow know that Mark's Deli is the kosher deli in the environment. Mark had already, he was a few steps ahead of us, and he was very good about recommending what we could do differently in terms of our food and in terms of our suppliers, and also in terms of recycling things. So that was a good opportunity for us to partner with him. And also you'll see we also coordinated with local faith groups. The person on the left, unfortunately, is passed away, but he was Monsignor of Glasgow, and the lady next to me is Sister Isabel, who we are still quite friendly with. Some of you may recognize the person on the right. He happens to be my partner. He was also a vice president of the Board of Deputies. It's Paul Edlin, and at the time he was the president of the Glasgow Jewish Rep Council. So we spent quite a bit of time with local people in the community talking about what we could do differently. And I will say that our Catholic and Church of Scotland and Muslim and Hindu and Buddhist friends were very good about sharing some of their ideas. So it was very good. The congregation became more involved. Many of them came to hear the chief rabbi. He addressed us. People were very enlightened and were very excited about doing something that was being sponsored by the Board of Deputies. As it happened, and I think you can see a few people there that you know, as it happened, we were awarded the Bronze Award during that event. And certainly, you know, the people that we were with that day. That was on one of the mornings of COP26. So it was a really very good opportunity for the community to get excited about being recognized for what we were doing by some UK groups. So we did some activities and learned about the environment. Now, the lady standing up and waving her hand is actually on this. She's in the audience today. Her name is Shana Khan, and she is the person that coordinates all of the youth activities. So she's actually on the call, and I'm sure if you have questions for her later about the things that she did with the children, she'd be delighted to share them. She put together a number of activities to help the children learn about the environment, and she was able to connect them to all the major Jewish festivals. This is actually the courtyard in Garnethill, which is now, as you can see, blossoming. And this was all part of the project that we were working on. So we did some things in the garden. You will notice that the tiny little pots were all planted by the children. And this is a really fun event because we talked to the children about the environment and what they could do to save the environment. And again, there's Paul watering the plants. We now have a sustainable herb garden in Garnethill, and we use the plants for our meals. And if there's anything left over, we're planning on sharing them with the multicultural center, which is just down the street. So I urge you to ask questions to Shana later, because she's much better at developing all these environmental things with the children than I am. So this is our courtyard. You will notice that the gentleman to the left, who happens to be from across the street, volunteered to help us. The two gentlemen there are of the minority community that's located within Garnethill. So not only did we have an opportunity to do some environmental things, but what also gave us an opportunity to work with the community and get some benefits from them. Turns out some of them are quite expert at helping us keep our plants alive. So we've been able to really have a good time with this. If you come to visit us, you will see, unfortunately, our climbers are not climbing, but the rest of the plants are quite healthy. And we're quite excited about what we've been able to do. But it wasn't just about the plants. So what else did we do? We did kind of an environmental audit within the building. By the way, Garnethill is 144 years old. It's twice as old as I am, but it's in much better shape because we have a lot of help from the government to help us keep the building in shape and make sure that it's a grade A listed building. So we've been able to, there was a lot of room to find out how we could be more environmentally efficient. So you will notice on the left that we try very hard. Whatever we purchase is recyclable. We're no longer using plastics. We changed the light bulbs. We've made the toilets much more energy efficient. Our serving platters and plates are all recyclable. We have regular reviews with our members, and we met with a number of community leaders. So we've done all the little things that you could do. And I would urge anyone who's just beginning this, it's the little things that make a difference. And it's the little things that get people involved because they begin to realize it's not that hard. You can become more environmentally aware, and you can do a lot of things that are small but make a big difference. So what happened? Well, Andrea called me one day, I think it was Andrea, and said, you know, you're probably doing a lot of stuff. So why don't we go through and see whether you're able to get to the next rung? And we were. So we're very, very excited, and it was a big celebration with Garnethill, the Garnethill members. We were awarded silver this year. So this was just kind of a story about how we went from bronze to silver. I don't know whether we're going to get to gold, but we're certainly making an effort to keep track of what we're working on. So where are we going and what are we doing next? We're continuing to review our recycling, and we're identifying whatever we can buy and reuse. We're also undergoing an assessment of our heating system, and you can well imagine with a very old building, there's a lot of energy that's escaping. So we're working with some environmental people who are giving us advice on what we can do differently. Unfortunately, some of the solutions are quite expensive, so we need to figure out what the payback is going to be. We're focusing on continuing educational programs to ensure that people understand what they can do differently. And we're also encouraging people to use public transportation when they're coming to our events and our activities. So that's a quick whistle-stop tour of Glasgow. You're welcome to visit. We'd love to have you, and we'd love to have you visit the Heritage Center in Garnethill.